Hello, this is Fred. In France, it's very warm, very hot. In France, it's the beginning of the summer. And we go to Germany, but an international awesome project of progressive death metal. It's called Changeling. First, I have one member, one founding member. So could you introduce yourself, please, Tom? What's your name and what do you do in Changeling? And after we are going to make a sum up of your career because you have a lot of stuff. Bon.
Well, hi, I'm Tom Fountainhead, and I am Changeling.
Yeah, and you are German, but Fountainhead, it's a nickname.
Yeah, because my last name is Geldschläger, which is so ridiculously German that outside of Germany nobody can pronounce it. And it has like an which is like an A with two dots. So
yeah.
I've been using the stage name since I was a teenager.
Oh, okay. How old are you now?
You never ask a lady that.
Oh, I'm not a lady.
No, you don't get it. Doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm 41.
Okay, but you have so many projects. Yeah. So you played live, or maybe you still play live also in Belphegor. You played live in the past with Christian Mesner and live and Obscura also.
I was in Obscura and we did an album together, but I did not play live with that band.
Okay. And Belphegor, yes. Now.
I played with them in 2022, I think. Yeah,
not now as a session live member of Belphegor. Not
What do you mean?
now. You are not the official session live member of Belphegor as guitarist.
I was if you want to call it session live member, then yes, I did that.
Okay, but not now for the tour. No, nowadays.
No.
Okay,
It's been a while.
Okay. Oh, Helmut, hello. You also played, if I'm right, in Defeated Sanity.
Yeah, also as a live member.
Yeah. I recently interviewed the bass player at the beginning last year or beginning of the year.
No.
So he's a German, but he moves in America. Okay.
Yeah, Jacob. He moved to California. Yeah. And we've been friends for forever. He was one of the first people I met when I moved to Berlin. And we would tease people by saying that we are brothers all the time because we look a little bit similar. So
fine. Yeah. Same age, maybe some same age, years old than him. So the same generation, I want to say.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And you play the common point. Yeah, also you play kind of death metal, less brutal than Defeated Sanity. So Changeling, could we say it's your project, your thing, your baby? Founded in 2024?
Well, I started writing the album and working on it a lot earlier. So I would say 2019, 2020 was the origin. When I started working on the album, and it was always going to be my next solo album, which would be solo album number 3. And the album was called Changeling.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I signed the project to Season of Mist, they suggested that we turn it into a dedicated project name for various reasons. So now Changeling, the album, has become Changeling, the band.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, because you already worked with your own nickname, Fountainhead, like I said, and another project. Okay. And so there is a guy in the team, he's a singer, Morean. He's not here, but I know him very well because ALKALOID, he's guitarist and singer in ALKALOID, NONEUCLID, tons of projects. Dark Fortress, we make a special interview for the live album. And he talked to me a bit but it was a bit early, it was last winter. And so when I discovered his performance vocally on this album, eponym album, so called Changeling, I was very surprised. I know he can do all black clear vocals, guest vocals, and musically it's an awesome project. So yeah, you started in 2019 to write, to compose, but there are a lot of members in this project. But the core of the band, it's you, Morean on vocals, or you as guitarist and keyboard, Because there are keyboard, piano also.
Well, yes and no. So there's like the piano parts are
Yeah.
played by other people, because I haven't been able to practice piano in a
Yeah,
long
you
time.
have a piano at your left.
Over there, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I used to play a ton of piano and
Mm,
keyboards when I was younger, but
okay.
I also have two kids, and the moment my kids were born, I decided to abandon my
Ah,
my aspirations to be better at piano. So
okay.
I write all the keyboard parts if there are any, but I don't perform them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So
And so,
like the keyboard parts I played are like the programming MIDI
yeah.
keyboards, and then the more complicated parts on this album are the more talented and
Oh,
the
yeah.
more in practice people have
You,
performed,
you
fortunately.
are humble, but you are,
That's what it is.
yeah, yeah. But you are a guitarist. Your joy, you are a guitarist, but you are a multi-instrumentist in a way.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, for me,
Bass.
guitar is my first instrument. So I also play on the album. I play the oud, and I also not on the album, but I play bass and I play keyboards and all this. But it's more like an expression of how I think music.
Mm.
It's not like I'm very. It's not like I'm a virtuoso player on any other instrument than guitar,
Okay.
and that's
Okay.
fine.
But
But
the
I think
bass,
it's very important to be
yeah,
able to express your ideas well enough on the instruments that you write for,
yeah.
to a degree to give your fellow musicians something more tangible to work with. So I try to know as much as I can about the instruments that I work with.
Okay. Okay. And on bass, it's Arran McSporran on bass,
Yeah.
fretless bass.
Yes.
And Mike Heller on drums, if I'm right,
Yeah.
former drummer of Fear Factory.
Correct. Yes.
Former, because it changed, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, you are lucky because it's free for you. Because
Can
this
you
Fear
come again?
Factory,
What did you say?
I say is you are lucky if now it doesn't play anymore in Fear Factory because it's free for you.
Yeah, well, actually, it took a long time. One of the reasons that the album took a long time
Yeah, right.
to release is that I spent a long time waiting for Mike to record his parts because he
Mm,
was always on tour and busy. So it
yeah.
took a long time. Yeah,
Okay. So
at
you
least
asked
a
him
year.
to quit. Maybe you asked him to quit Fear Factory, especially for
I
you.
did no such thing.
Dino,
No,
no.
no,
Be careful. I know Dino Cazares, so be careful. Okay,
no, I certainly didn't.
but Mike also played French. It's interesting in Amarillo project with a French guitarist and bass player Frédéric Leclerc, from the band Creator, Lord Blast, Insanum, etc. And
Yeah.
Dragon Force, Amarillo project also on drums. It was him.
Okay. I know of Frederick, but we haven't met, and I haven't heard that particular project.
Okay.
Would be cool to check it out.
Okay, so a good team, very good team. But
Yeah.
that's the core of the band, you and these guys. But in the whole album, there are a lot of guests, 50 guests maybe with special different instruments. So for this first album, you are not afraid uh, to have to meet some difficulties to affirm your name, your music with a project with so many guests and it's because it's not under your name. There are a lot of guests, so you are not afraid that people don't know exactly what's it's behind the Changeling, or you don't care the music first, and that's all.
Is that a question?
You are not afraid that people don't know, don't understand what is behind Changeling, all the
Yeah.
team, all the guests. There are so many guests. Sometimes from a first album, you can meet some
Well, okay,
difficulties
okay.
to affirm your music and your project with so many guests. For example, the first album of Delane, there are so many guests we didn't know exactly who made who and who is
I
behind that.
honestly don't understand the question because what would be a problem about having guests? I mean, I invited and or hired these people to perform the parts I had written or to contribute to the music in a way that I
Mm,
needed them to.
mm.
So but I I don't see why that would be something I would be afraid of. That's something that is one of the best aspects of doing
Yeah,
what I do.
yeah. It's a collective project, but born by in your brain, in your
Yeah, it's
mind.
no, like I would be very interested in, because now the album that I wrote, that I composed and produced and mixed
Yeah,
and oversaw, um, is now also its own project. I would actually be really interested in how it would evolve if it becomes collaborative,
yeah,
right? I have with Arran and Morean, I have such strong artistic chemistry. So this time I wrote the music and then they came in to perform and work with me on the music that I had written. And then we figured out that we had such amazing chemistry. Uh, and if I had the opportunity to write for them or
yeah.
write together with them, I think we could do some very cool things. So yeah.
Okay. And so that's why it was a awesome project, and it takes time. So there are 10 tracks, if I'm right. 10 tracks on
Yeah.
the album with some
Yeah.
interludes in introduction and introject and metanoia interlude. I think it's there. There is a keyboard part.
That's
Uh,
a piano piece, yeah.
Piano, yeah.
Piano for piano and for horns.
And during the whole album, there is also catexis interlude. During the whole album, sometimes I have heard some notes of theremin. You understand
Yeah.
theremin? I'm wrong or not? It's maybe a special effects on keyboards or something like that.
No,
Not
I think what
theremin.
you mean is my fretless guitar playing.
Ah, yeah, yeah. Sometimes there's special effects in the. It's so rich. Yeah, I believe
Oh,
it
thank
was
you. But
theremin.
there's no theremin on the album. It's funny that you should mention that, because I have a friend who plays theremin and
Theremin.
we recorded some stuff for the album, but I ended up not using it because it wasn't necessary.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe next time.
On Thomann, we can buy now a small theremin, very small
Yeah, yeah.
to get for the IF1000 and live. Some artists have that to travel. It's okay, not so big and very and it works good.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Also, on guitars, you play. What is your main guitar tuning and what's your gear? And you play on 6 string or 7 string guitars? Tell me more about your way of playing because it's so rich and so interesting.
Well, I mean, I can just show you.
I know I have seen some photos, 7 string maybe, not 7 string
So
maybe, baritone maybe, no,
it's all
no,
7 string. It's
okay.
all these wonderful Aristides instruments. And this is the main fretless guitar on the album.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, there's no big secret. It's all in the fingers and the playing.
And it's
Yes,
B tuning on B, no? C? No.
it's standard tuning. And
Stand
then some songs go down to A.
A, okay. Like okay. Okay.
Like right now, it's in standard tuning on the album. Sometimes it's standard tuning, sometimes it's drop A for
Mhm.
the low string, and then other songs are in A standard, basically.
And what's the okay, thank you. What's the trademark of this guitar? What's the
The
trademark?
brand is
Yes.
Aristides. It's a wonderful company from the Netherlands who makes all the guitars that I used on the album.
Especially for you, it's a signature. For you, no? Endorsed, you're
Not
endorsed.
really. I mean, I brought the fretless guitar to them, and now you can basically order normal guitar models from them and make a special version for fretless if you ask them. It's not a dedicated model, which I would like
Yeah.
us to do in the future, but that's also like the market for fretless guitars is not so huge that
Mhm.
it gives them a great benefit to use that to release that as its dedicated model.
Yeah.
So we haven't done that, but other than that, I can basically ask them for whatever I want to have them, and then we'll discuss it and see if it's possible.
Okay, okay, okay. It remembers me a bit Godin guitars when they released a few years ago some fretless guitar, more acoustic guitar, but some yeah special guitars
Yeah, I remember that. It was
in
called the
Canada.
Glissantar, and I played
Yeah,
that one
exactly.
on the Obscura Acrosis album. That
Yeah,
on that album, I played that guitar, which I borrowed from a friend. I remember that. Yeah.
yeah. But it's is it hard to play that on fretless because it's very strange fretless guitars when you have some habits to have a fret on your neck.
People always ask me that, and it's like, do you think it's hard to play guitar?
Uh, for me, yeah. I tried because I wanted to buy, for example, a Glissentar guitar. It's very expensive now, but some old
No, that's
models.
not what, no, that's not what I'm asking. It's like,
Uh,
do you think guitar playing itself is hard?
it's you have to work, but yes, a bit if you don't, especially don't have the ear, and maybe it's more difficult than the piano. I think to learn
No, none of that
physically.
is
Physically,
no. None of that is true. It's a guitar. It's a different kind of guitar. And if you like look at it like this, if you own a guitar, you can play guitar, right?
yeah,
Whether you play guitar well is another matter. Like if you want to play Nirvana songs, that's like one goal. If you want to play Necrophagist songs, that's another thing. And
yeah,
so it's just apples and oranges. You can do so many things with guitar. Some require hard work, and others require a little bit less of hard work.
yeah,
But
yeah,
it's an instrument. You have to learn it, and you can decide how deep you want to go into the
yeah.
topic. So now the fretless guitar is a new kind of guitar.
Mhm, mhm.
It's its own thing, but the same rules apply. You can play something on it that's very easy and very comes very naturally to the fretless guitar. And then there's other things that you can try to do which require more work and
Yeah,
more
yeah.
dedication. So that's really how I see it. It's not like, oh, fretless guitar is so much harder than a normal guitar. Well, it's like saying violin is so much harder than something else. Well, it requires some extra steps at the beginning, but people do it all the time. So I try not to look at it as something extra. It's something different with its own rules
Mhm.
and its own challenges.
Yeah.
But that's never stopped me, and I hope that doesn't stop anybody else from trying it too.
And at first, did you learn music theory at school to before to play guitar or when you start guitar?
No,
Because
no,
it maybe it's, you have to know the notes and the neck and the ears. You develop your ears, your own.
no,
I
I'm
think.
self-taught,
Yes,
maybe.
that's okay. 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 Alors, so let's speak about the name Changeling and a bit
Mhm.
about some songs, some title of the songs, some songs. Why did you change? Did you choose Changeling? Because Changeling, it's like a fake in heroic fantasy by the elves or something like that. They put something a gift, a
No,
fake gift for
no.
when they
I
the
many
babies.
many people have mentioned that. That
That's
the first time somebody mentioned that in an interview was the first time I've ever heard about that.
okay. It's like that.
There was even
What?
people writing reviews being like not even looking into the promo text where all of this is explained, and
Yeah.
then writing about some something about
Translation, simple
elves
translation.
and
Yeah.
fairies and being like, oh yeah, like there's this deep influence from like European folk in
Yeah.
on the album, and like, what the fuck
Lyrically,
are you
no.
talking
Yeah.
about? It has nothing to do with the album.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
So Changeling originally was just the name of one of the songs,
Yeah.
right? And
Yes.
then also Changeling to me, I'm a Star Trek fan.
Ah, okay.
And
Okay.
in Star Trek Deep Space Nine, one of the Star Trek series, there's a race
Yeah.
of shape-shifting beings. They're called the Changelings. And so that there's different levels of interpretation, but it's for me it's a shapeshifter. And because I in my life and career I've done many different things musically, and I don't plan on changing that, no pun intended. I always want to keep growing and trying new things, and I don't feel like I need to settle on one particular thing.
Ah, okay.
So it also applies to me. So it was then a good album title for what it is that I'm doing.
Okay.
Also, partly because, like I said earlier, it was to be my third solo album, and it sounds completely different. It's a completely
Oui.
different
Yeah.
thing from my second solo album, Reverse Engineering, which is
Mm.
also really different from the first solo album, Fears the
Yeah.
Enemy, and
You
so on and so
evolve.
forth.
Yeah, yeah,
So it
yeah.
made Changeling was kind of a mission statement, you know, as like, okay, this is something completely different. Now deal with
Okay.
it. And then, like I said earlier, when Season of Mist signed the project, they suggested that we give it or that I give it a dedicated project name. And honestly, I just wasn't able to find anything else. So we made the album title, the project title, and here we are.
Okay.
So
Okay.
sometimes it's not that deep.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I can see in the title of the songs. Yeah, you don't speak about elves and something like that. Okay.
Certainly not.
Yeah. And there is
No.
a song. It takes my attention. World, what world? And then
Mhm.
when I see on TV or news, the bad news in the world with the war everywhere, etc. I see this song world, what a pity, what a sad world. I want to say, is it in relation with what
No,
happened in the world or not at all?
no.
Oh, of
That
course, it
that
was
has
written
nothing to do
before,
with it.
but there were war before.
I can talk about the lyrics and the concept if you want to.
Yeah, but yeah, please. Yeah.
So it is a concept album in both music and lyrics. There's two different concepts. The musical concept is that we go from the past of technical death metal to the future. It has 4 different chapters, and each chapter is different. Um, the first chapter is basically the past. So I'm referencing and also specifically using certain elements that you have heard other bands and also past projects of mine use. So that's
Yeah.
deliberate. So to kind of give the listener something familiar at the beginning.
Mhm.
And that's also where we have different guest solos from people who played in my top 3 influences in technical death metal, which would be Death, Cynic, and Morbid Angel.
Yeah.
Right, so that we give legitimacy to the concept of starting with the past, and then in chapter 2, it's evolving. It's still very much technical death metal, but then it also brings in different elements that, to
Yeah.
my knowledge, nobody has ever done in combination with death metal so far.
Mhm.
And those are songs like the title track or Abyss.
Yeah,
And
abyss, very doomy, very deep, very heavy, very abyssal.
yeah, sure. And that's, for example, that song moves up and down a quarter tone. Right,
Okay.
so that's something that in death metal I don't think anybody has ever done before, but it's still very much death metal. Like I always say that if you have the
Mm.
vinyl and you just drop the needle anywhere in chapter 2, you're going to be saying that's death metal, you know, instantly. So we are still in that world, and then chapters 3 and 4 go to places, take the music to places that I personally can offer as visions of the future of what you can do with that format. So it goes more epic and
Yeah.
adventurous
Mhm.
towards
Ah,
the end.
yeah.
And at the same time, we
Abdication.
have the lyrical concept. And the lyrical concept is that it's written from the perspective of a person going through a very strong psychedelic experience.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
so the different songs can be interpreted as different stages of that psychedelic experience. And so the person goes deeper and deeper into the experience. And What World is the song where the world is disappearing, the physical reality is disappearing, and the person gets lost amidst a myriad of different images and shapes from their subconscious mind,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
And then in the concept, abyss is basically the lowest point where
Ah, yeah.
that person goes to the farthest possible point of his subconscious mind, um, where his consciousness is almost crushed by the
Yeah.
weight of everything. And then after that, there's the come up. And then the
Yeah.
last song is basically
Anathema.
Anathema, yes, is then talking about what this protagonist, or Florian being the protagonist in the story, has gained from the experience, what he has learned, what he's taken with him, could be interpreted that way. And it's a very cool manifesto of how he sees the world and how what he has to say and what he has to offer as perspectives. And I think it's a really beautiful arc and journey. And both things happen at the same time.
Okay, very interesting. It's a very beautiful, very rich album. We can. It's difficult to sum up, and I invite all the people to listen to the whole album
Oh, that'd be cool, yeah.
in different parts if you don't have the time. But sometimes it's good. Take your time to understand, to listen the whole album, and because it's so rich, there are so many. Yeah, and there are no boundaries. Musically. Sometimes some oriental touch, world music, classical orchestrations, jazz music, fusion, rock, piano, we say in the jazz music, and death metal. Yes, so progressive. It's all that. It's all your influences, but it's you make a very good melting pot, but very good, very very rich, very. There are so many things. That's why I was blown away. What are the reactions do you have since April, since the release? What are the feedbacks of the people, of the press in general? I didn't know. I don't know. I didn't read the. Honestly.
Well, it's let me be perfectly honest. So the album artistically and with the core audience, it's been a massive success. And I've seen like 5-star or 10-star, like maximum rating type reviews, a ton, like at least 10 or so in a row. And so it has been really awesome to see the reactions. And I've seen people write giant YouTube comments that take you 10 minutes to read in appreciation of some of the things on the album. So that's been amazing. Why I said, let me be perfectly honest, is that the problem is that the album has been wildly ignored and not covered by most of the press. So that's both. It's a bit of cognitive dissonance for me. I really don't get it. Because like I said, the people who have connected with the album have really embraced it, which was amazing, except for a few people where you can really tell that they've like given it very like surface level attention. They're like, okay, this is how it sounds like, next. And they haven't really taken the time to get into it, because it is a big amount of music and it really demands your attention, for better or worse. But everybody who's really given it some time and attention has almost everybody has really connected with it, which was extremely satisfying. But also I have to say, well, I didn't do the album to reach a few people. Doing albums and writing albums is what I do. This is my livelihood, right? So I could have also just not do this and done something else. And so it really pains me, and that it's making me very depressed that I've worked 5 years of my life on this album to now have people at Blabbermouth or Metal Injection just basically completely not give it any platform, not even a review. And I'm struggling to comprehend that still.
And thank you for your honest answer. Honestly, yes, I received. Honestly, like I've said at the beginning, I wanted absolutely to interview you to better know you and this project, because I miss you. I just discovered at the beginning of the year the single song, the music video of Falling in Circles. I said to the label, "Oh, it's awesome! It sounds a bit obscura or something like that."
Yeah, that's intentional. That's the song that deliberately references.
But for me, I believe there is something behind the tree. I think there is a big forest, and I want to discover the forest. And I miss the rest. Honestly, in April, I have some. Okay, my father died, etc. So I was not
Research
totally
material.
aware about what all, and honestly, we receive a lot of releases of label, etc. Since and I like the last quadrium of album with TD Giorgio and Morean Portesling.
Yeah.
I make the reviews, interview, and I say, oh, man, I didn't make the interview of Changeling, and Changeling, so I catch the time, I listen the whole album, I say, oh,
Mm.
I can't, it's in June, maybe it's not, it's a bit late, but for the promotion, but I wanted to absolutely
Dude,
know to,
everything counts. So I
okay,
really appreciate you giving it the time and attention now. So
oh, yeah, you
everything
do.
counts.
Yeah. And it's not too late. So, also, maybe it will be the time is passing. I wanted to know if two things before to conclude, and I will
Mhm.
the last word it will be for you. Are you a big fan of Steve Vai because you play on seven-string guitar, and
Yeah.
I didn't know he played in fretless, but it's just Steve Vai. It's an idol for you. It's an icon and guitar. It inspired you at when you were young.
Steve Vai has definitely inspired me. He was one of my first big guitar idols, and
Mhm.
he's still fantastic. Absolutely,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
It
And
has
he
nothing
was,
to do with the fretless guitar, but
yeah, okay, yeah.
he is one of my absolute heroes.
And he
Yes.
was one of the great guitarists to start to play on seven string guitar in the
Yeah.
90s.
Yeah. For sure.
Uh,
Yeah.
okay, after Meshuggah and the Dino Cazares for Fair Story, etc., etc. And
Yeah.
okay, and so what the plans? Do you have live plans, or it will be only your studio project for you, honestly, Changeling?
Another honest answer. Nobody
Uh,
wants to book me.
but
That's the honest answer.
it could change. It could change. I
Well,
think.
then let's
Yeah,
change that. Reach out to me because I'm depressed and fucking pissed off because I've only received crickets.
okay, okay, yeah. But
So
sometimes some artists,
the answer is I want to play this material. I have played this material on stage, and and
okay,
there's different
yeah,
uh, band formations that I can offer
yeah,
to play this material. You know, one being the lineup on the album.
yeah,
Um, we can try to make that happen, which is obviously more expensive because of the multinational
yeah.
nature of
True.
it, right? But then I also have a trio with local musicians who play with me, who are fantastic for smaller shows. And so all of that is not a problem. Playing the material for
Yeah,
people is not an issue. The only issue is that nobody has yet reached
yeah,
out to me and or even answered my emails about working together
yeah,
for
sure.
booking shows. And I need that to play for people. And then this has been the story of my life for the past 10 years. People are like, when can we see you live? And I'm like, wait, well, if there's somebody who
Yeah,
can help with booking and wants to
yeah,
put on a show, because
yeah,
that's not what I do. That I can't do that. I don't have the capacity for that.
yeah,
So I just need people
yeah,
to help with that, unfortunately.
yeah.
And so far, nobody has stepped up
Mm.
and one wants to help with that, which is I think is a
Okay.
shame.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm
And
ready. Like you
you're
want to
ready.
book a show, then we'll
Uh,
play in your backyard. I
yeah.
promise you.
I think the solution maybe is for that is for some to play in some good few festivals, and because it's maybe that the top conditions,
No, 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 you don't
but
understand. These festivals also have to book me.
yeah,
Festivals have not replied to a single
yeah,
email.
they will reply. I'm sure they will reply
Well,
because
let's see in 2 years. We'll see.
because the solution could be less expensive to just to make some shows in some good festivals, good conditions, technically, especially because in festival open air, etc. With the wind, it's not sometimes good, but it's more easy, and it's easier for you for the cost to arrive to play with the material and the minimum
For
of
sure.
material
For
and
sure.
after
But
you
we are not even that far because, like I said, so far nobody has really
yeah
made an effort to get us on stage. And I think once that is the case, we will find a way
yeah
to kind of bridge all these different gaps and
yeah
make the thing happen in whatever capacity as
Yeah.
possible.
Okay.
I've put on a headliner tour of India 2 years ago, playing Changeling material, because there was a phenomenal person helping behind the scenes and booking the shows, and there were up to 250 people a night. Right, and the Changeling wasn't even existing at that point. The album wasn't out, and
Yeah.
so I know it's possible, and I know that it's a great thing to do, and I know that people really appreciate it if I do that. It's just that without an actual booking
Yeah.
person who can help with that, it's not going to happen. It's
Okay.
just simply not.
Okay.
Unfortunately. So
Okay.
sorry, sorry
I,
for being
no, no, no.
less promotionally than
No,
other
no.
people might be,
May-
but it's the truth. That's how it is right now.
Okay, I will. Okay, the message is clear. So people book a changeling and
Yes, please.
okay. I thank you very much. I let you. We are very. It was very interesting. Thank you for your time and for all the explanation and some. Excuse me for some mistakes, but I wanted to better know you. That's
Don't
the
worry
goal.
about it.
That's the
No,
goal.
don't worry about it.
And I know that now the sense of changeling for your music. Okay, well, thank you very much. Take care, Tom. Take care, really. Take very seriously, and
Fred, thank
hope
you
to see you live
for.
in France.
I would love that. Please, let's all make that happen. I
This
would love
weekend
that.
it's Hellfest. In August it's Motoculture Festival. I think you can play between Gruesome and I don't know, Opus. You have your place.
Well, yeah, I would do all of those things if people were just
Okay.
connecting me and
Yeah.
asking me to do it. 100%. I played Multicultural with Belphegor a couple of years ago, which
Yeah, I
was
was
super
there. I was there in the pit in
ah,
the
really
night. I think
nice.
it was in the night. Yeah, I
Yeah,
was there. Yeah, I was there.
that was a cool
Yeah,
show. Yeah,
every year,
um,
every year. So
really cool festival, and would love to be back. But
okay,
most of all, thank you for
okay.
giving this opportunity.